Hi, I'm Mari, and I'm making a Sage guide for Double Shield in top. This is a two-part guide, with the other POV being of my co-healer in this instance, linked in the description. Double Shield is pretty fun in top. It can definitely pay off having extra mint from your co-healer, especially in P6, where mint can be tight sometimes. For healing Looper, give Haima to a 3rd or 4th in line player about halfway through the cast or below 5 seconds on your debuff. If you want to give it to a 4th in line player, just do the same thing but in the next iteration instead of the first. Remember to cycle Cardia on people who need it, and yeah. Coming up for the 3rd in line cast, you want to hit Carachol about right before the towers go off. This makes it so it covers a 10% mit on both 3rd in lines and 4th in lines. You can AoE heal just extra, just to make sure people are safely topped off, and should be good. For healing after Looper, top everyone off, I like to hit Physis and have a Zoe Numa going out. You can coordinate with your co-healer, who uses their big AoE heal for that. For Pantocrator, you want to Holos about after he starts spinning, and then Panhaima right after. I like to Carachol for the 2nd stack because it covers the stack and all the other ones. If everyone's properly mitted, you shouldn't need any AoE heals to top people off in between. You can do it just for safety, and since Sage can AoE GCD while moving, you can always do that if you feel like you need it. Remember to top the tanks off after the Buster, and I like to Carachol as soon as I dot the boss and the P2 opener. This covers a 10% mit on the busters, giving your tanks a bit of safety in case they miss something small. I'm going to use this time to say real quick, you should coordinate with your co-healer who's going to be GCDing what. So, for example, with my co-healer, I GCD all the downtime mechanics and sometimes uptime stuff if we need it. So, Party Synergy, it's quite basic. None of the damage is lethal. You only need to heal people up after the spreads. Make sure everyone's topped up and shielded, and it should be fine. For the limitless uptime, remember to give Haima to your off tank. This helps them a lot with survivability, since the off tank always takes a bit more damage than the main tank. Unlike with normal Sage, you will not be Zoe shielding this, as your Scholar will be hitting spread low. So you want to give them Crassus and hit Physis just to empower it, and get ready for the mechanic. You can hit Panhaima about after you do the dodge, or more like when the AoE disappears. Hit Holos at about whenever the flares appear, and hit Carachol under 5 seconds on the meteor timer. If you time Panhaima right, it should fall off right after the damage, healing everyone up if they need it. Generally, if everything's done properly, people should take 0 damage on the flares and stack combo. As the boss's HP is ticking down during the end rage, you can hit Zoe preemptively, just to prepare it for downtime. I don't here because I'm messing around. Zoe shielding the intermission lets you spend less time topping people up before the Hello World raid wide. Something I didn't talk about on my Sage guide is if you are doing the support dodge here, you can dodge into middle, and at 2 seconds or less on the debuff timer, you can hit Carachol, it'll cover the intermission damage, and the Hello World cast. Make sure everyone's topped up for Hello World, and if everything's done right, you should be fairly comfortable. You can top everyone off with Ixochol after the cast, and get ready for Hello World healing. Your heal plan will be Carachol on first patch, Penheima on second, Carachol on third, and Holos on fourth. Remember to heal everyone up in between, and GCD extra if you want to be safe. Penheima goes out on second patch, and you want to make sure people are healthy enough to survive. The way me and my co-healer have our stuff set up, we'll generally get pretty low on patch 2, so that's when I go into middle and do a Zoe Numa. Remember to hit Carachol for patch 3. And the healing here, you can just do an Ixochol. The healing from Holos as well can top people up enough to survive. Make sure if the defams need it, they get a bit extra, as sometimes they can take more damage than everyone else. You should be cycling Cardia on the tanks the entire phase, just to keep them healthy since you have less spot heals than a pure healer comp. For critical error, you can just Carachol. The extra Mitt from Soil means you don't have to shield it. Make sure people are topped off for the Meteor next. Or monitors, I mean. The regens from Soil and Carachol can generally be enough to top them off if you have an Ixochol. If people need extra, you can just GC. You can give your co-healer Crassus for the spread low going into P4. This greatly increases its potency. So, for healing P4, you're going to hit Carachol on the first stack, Penheima on the second stack, and fit Ixochol or Numa anywhere in between just to keep people alive. Carachol goes out. Penheima goes next here. And I like to Numa here just for safety. Remember to hit Carachol on this raid wide. Neither of you should need GCD heals if you have Soil and Carachol on it. And that's P4. Getting ready to go into P5, make sure people are topped up. And you can shield right as the clones disappear. This will cover the Delta raid wide and won't be a GCD in uptime. So for supporting the tanks, if they take this buster, you can hold right before Solar Ray. If anything, it'll snapshot on the second hit of the buster or the first. You can hit Carachol right after the second hit of the buster, and these should cover the Delta cast. My co-healer has a spread low going into Delta, so if your co-healer does that, make sure to give them Crassus and Physis as well to help with both topping people up after the raid wide and empowering the spread low. Right before the Tether Snap, you can hit Carachol if you hit it early enough in the Delta cast. And make sure not to GCD here, because you can overwrite your co-healer's shields if you use Euphrasia Prognosis. This is the only part where healing can get kinda tight, as a lot of people are spread out. Make sure you go middle and heal people up with this tether snap as well. Everything is done properly. People should be healthy enough to soak tether snap. Getting ready for the Sigma raid wide. Remember to help your tanks. Give them Tarachol, Haima, anything you can help them with. After the second hit of the Buster, you can hit Carachol and Penhaima. Penhaima should fall off after the raid wide, letting you heal everyone up for the next hit of damage. I like to Zoe shield the Proteans here, just so the top up is a bit easier. You can hit Carachol before the Proteans go out. This makes top up easier as well. Go middle, and you can just GCD shield everyone, hit Ixochol, and people should be mostly topped up. If they aren't, you can just hit a raw Prognosis, and that should have everyone high enough to take their tower. Nothing much to say here for the rotating lasers. As long as you go middle and shield everybody, they'll be guaranteed to survive any of the damage going out. I should say really quick, since Numa isn't very useful in this phase, I like to use it after Sigma to top everyone off before Omega. After Sigma resolves, make sure to help your tanks out, give them anything that can help them. Whoever's taking the first hit should get a little bit extra, since the second hit will always have Bolos unless you time it well. You can hit Carachol after the second hit of the Buster, and it will cover Sigma. My co-healer is spread lowing the Omega cast, so make sure if your co-healer is doing this to give them Crassus. For Omega dodges, you can use pretty much anything you have to support the tanks. Soteria, Tarachol, Haima. They'll be taking a lot of autos here, so just be careful. Going into the Omega mech, just GCD shield everyone and put Penhaima. Penhaima should be enough to come close to topping people off once it falls off. Remember to go middle and top everyone off. And at this point, check and see if your tanks are taking one of the tethers, as they will need to be fully topped off for the Buster after Omega. The Buster after Omega is a guaranteed tank buster. You will be taking it in every comp, so make sure to give anything you have left to your tanks. Using a Haima here will not affect anything in P6, so it's completely free to give to your tanks to help them out. If everything is done right, you should be seeing the P6 cast. All it needs is a Carachol from you, as the soil from your co-healer will be enough to mitigate it without having to GCD shield. At this point in the fight, you should coordinate with your co-healer, who's taking what, stuff like LB, who's going middle. I would very much recommend Sage is the one who goes middle during meteors, as Zoe Numa is enough to completely top people up as soon as the first instance of meteor damage goes out. Other than that, LB can be just whoever feels like it. Starting off, P6, Cosmo Memory only needs a Carachol from you. GCD shielding it is optional, but you can do it if you want. Only things I would not recommend GCD shielding is Cosmo Memory and then Cosmo Dive 1, as LB Gen can be a bit of an issue in this phase sometimes, so it's better to take a bit more damage if you still survive it. So for Cosmo Dive 1, you will be using Panheima Carachol on it. Remember, GCD shielding it is optional, as if everyone presses their mitts, you should survive it just fine. Do not immediately shield everybody after the raid wide, as you can use it as one of your instants during unlimited wave cannon for movement. You can start moving, and at any point during the movement here, you can GCD shield. After the 6 puddle drops, you can hit Carachol, it'll cover everything in Wave Cannon. I like to Physis just to help the top off. Make sure to Ixochol in between as well. And make sure to shield. Immediately after the raid wide, you can give your Cohealer Crassus for their spread low. For Cosmo Arrow, you can hit Holos anytime after the first dodge, just make sure it catches everybody. Hit Carachol when the Wave Cannon cast starts. And if everything is done right, you should need minimal top up in between. Our Dark Knight actually takes an Exa here, so we have to give him a bit extra to survive. For Unlimited Wave Cannon 2, just like the first one, you can use GCD shielding as one of your movements during the mechanic. You can Carachol a bit early. This allows it to be up for meteors. If your tank takes a damage down, just in case, make sure to give them a bit extra if they are a bit shaky from the fact they have a damage down. Starting meteors, remember to GCD shield everybody, and once you see the puddles appear, you want to start moving out and hit Panheima. You should Carachol off cooldown as soon as you can. This covers all the damage. And Numa in the middle to top everyone off. You can Ixochol after the second wave, and then give Crassus to your Cohealer for their spread low. After the meteors and flares go off, move in middle, top everyone off for the raid wide, and as long as the LBs are done properly, you should have a free win. Yay! Double shield in top is very fun. It can pay off very well. Me and my Cohealer here have had quite a few instances where double shield has saved a pull, especially in P6. As long as you go into the fight with a lot of coordination, stuff planned out prematurely, and trust in your Cohealer, you can make it work very well. Sometimes even better than a normal comp with just a pure healer and a shield healer. So yeah, just hit the boss. Yay!